Oh, right. Well, I wanted to go over my newest resurgence and experimentation with some of Blizzard's different classic games, so to speak. Now, there's two games that really got my attention, and that is Warcraft Reforged as well as Starcraft Remastered. Now, I like the older school, Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2 games. Those games I played endlessly back in the day and just loved the shit out of. But they're really older games, and they feel it. Even in the remastered form, Warcraft 2 is like, ugh, and Warcraft 1, oh my god, that is just like the basic of basic RTSs. So those are, to me, in my opinion, are not as easy to go back to. Now, StarCraft Remastered is freaking awesome. I played that and loved the shit out of it because it has so much nostalgia and it's such a unique game. It's even cool. You can like zoom in and see like an updated form of units, and it's really quite great in that aspect. So yeah, StarCraft Remastered is a lot of fun and it's worth going back to. Is it worth $20? Hell no. These games are incredibly overpriced for what you get in the package. And honestly, I can't imagine this took very much effort from the Blizzard devs to make these remastered forms, and they should be like $5, $10 type games. Because the thing about StarCraft Remastered, the best of these remastered series, in my opinion, of the RTS variety, is that they you go back to them and you get that nostalgia hit, and then you kind of just become sort of meh about it. And you realize how good we have it. I mean, it's always good to go back to the classics because you realize how good we have it in modern gaming. But I mean, StarCraft 2 is just such an incredible game that really like is so much more superior to StarCraft Remastered. So if you go for nostalgia, StarCraft Remastered is amazing. And really, realistically speaking, StarCraft 2 is just the superior game in every format. So, I mean, gameplay wise, there's really no reason to go back to StarCraft Remastered, and certainly not Warcraft 1 and 2. But you get that nostalgia hit. There's nothing like it, and Blizzard clearly is milking that and milked quite a bit of dollars for a product that is, it's good to go back to, but definitely overpriced. Now, the one that I really, really wanted to check under the hood for a long time is Warcraft 3 Reforged. Now, Warcraft 3 Reforged, they absolutely raked this game under the coals when it came out. People hated it, and I saw constant things all over my feed saying how terrible it was. And yeah, there was aspects of it playing it that I was a little bit meh on. The art style is definitely different, but at its core, it's still the same Warcraft 3 game. A game that is so unique and so completely near and dear to my heart, and still today very, very, very playable for its just simplistic, cartoony, toy-like nature. Going back to Warcraft 3 is just a dream come true. And for me, one of the best aspects of it is that fun ass editor that you can just play around with and make whatever you can comes to mind. It has a simple interface but very deeply complex nature to it. Warcraft 3 Reforged is a dream for me, and I fucking love it. And I don't care what people say because it's fucking great. So yeah, I've really liked going back to that. So much more that it warranted a purchase, outside of Game Pass. So yeah, I would say that Warcraft 3 Reforged is fucking incredible. I love it because it's, the Warcraft 3 of your dreams, basically. Yeah, the art style's a little different, but whatever. I mean, it just gets the job done, and you have to go back to it and experience it. And it's, again, same another thing. It's way overpriced for what you get, but yeah, it's the superior version of Warcraft 3, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, I've never really played any of the newer Diablo, the remasters. I played 1 and 2 endlessly. Those games when they came back out in the back in the day, I literally just played those games nonstop. There's no other thing that I did because there was no other game as good as them. But the ship to me has very much sailed for the Diablo style play. I haven't played 4. I barely played 3. I played it a little bit on consoles, maybe when it first came out. Really got bored of it, and I had no desire to go to the remasters. What was it called? Diablo 2 Resurrected, especially for that price. Jesus, $60. Maybe one day I'll check them out, but not into a massive sale. And it's just not one that I really have a huge inkling because to me, games like they're more adventure uh, inspired. Games like Oblivion, games like Skyrim, just really took over the fantasy RPG, dungeons and exploration to me. The overhead style of gameplay to me is classic, and I'd certainly like to, play those games at one point in time. But they're nothing like Warcraft 3 Reforged to go back to because there's just no other game like Warcraft 3. It just is a very unique type of game, and it feels very unique, and I freaking loved it. And so, yeah, I mean, Blizzard, for all the shit that they screw up, they really knocked it out of the park with these these two. For me, superior games. Blizzard classics, StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3 Reforged, StarCraft Remastered. All of them are great to experience. And yeah, Blizzard did a good job of having these and available to play because there's really nowhere else to get them. And yeah, all three of those games are so near and dear to my heart that yeah, I just I have to have them. I have to have them at the ready. Blizzard had great strides in the past, for sure. Some of the greatest games ever made at their time was made by Blizzard. Now Blizzard is really kind of fell off, so to speak, in these last years. Overwatch is not something I really ever would like. World of Warcraft, they certainly have made creative choices to the detriment, like that Shadowlands update, where Blizzard is so over the top woke. It's becoming embarrassing, and there's even creative liberties taken in StarCraft Remastered that kind of show that you're like, you know, did they have to diversify everything and take those creative liberties? So I don't know. Blizzard has good games, and the classics are still worth the nostalgia today. And there are Blizzard classics that will go down in history as some of the best games ever made. StarCraft, Warcraft 3, in my opinion. Those are just eternal games, and the fact that you can play them in an upgraded form in today's world is deeply great. Things like tower defense and custom maps and playing around with the editors is just a dream come true. And what they really need to do is hone in on that. And if Blizzard wants advice on how to make good games, just copy what worked in StarCraft 2, copy what worked in Warcraft 3, copy what worked in the original StarCraft, and they can make a quintessential Warcraft 4. They can make a Warcraft, for StarCraft 3. They can do that, but they have to get away from all this woke bullshit, and they have to actually, you know, go back to the drawing board of what makes Blizzard Blizzard, because these games are truly special to me. And yeah, I love the Blizzard classics, and I'm sure the people out there love Diablos 2 games. They're just great games, and there was in a time where there's so much innovation in the gaming industry where Blizzard cornered their own little market, and that market has sailed, because I've said this many times that how great Warcraft 3 is, Total War Warhammer has done so much more than what Warcraft could ever have been. So I mean, there's other competition out there that's taking it and giving Blizzard a run for their money in many forces, and then hopefully they come out. Maybe there will be a competitor to Starcraft where there's a really awesome RTS, future aliens and that kind of thing. But for now, Starcraft 2, it's kind of the top dog for that. I mean, I love StarCraft 2 and all the myriad of mods, the clean, slick interface, the cartoonish Warcraft 3 like things. Warcraft 2 and StarCraft, or Warcraft 3 Reforged and StarCraft 2 for me are just great games, and I'm so happy to have them in my roster. Blizzard Entertainment today is a shadow of its former self, but definitely some of these games are eternal and great to play today and worth having in your roster 100%. And yeah, for me, Reforged, amazing, despite all the hate and backlash. StarCraft 2, kind of a hidden gem almost, so to speak, at this point because it's just there. But it's just a wicked fan or sci-fi RTS. I love it. I love Reforged. The classic StarCraft, that music going and playing the campaigns just brings you back to a simpler time in gaming. And I freaking love the Blizzard classics. And I hope that the company gets rid of all the fucking activists. They're screwing up the company, but not holding my breath. I think that all we're gonna get out of Blizzard is these, their classic time, and it's just gonna continue to morph into something we all deeply hate, especially if they keep all these activists in. So, yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on the Warcraft classics. I mean Blizzard classics. Harkens back to a better time for Blizzard, and yeah, hope they sort their shit out, but not holding my breath at all.